Man, we're gonna have to limit our walk, brother. Like, make a right turn.
You gotta be mindful
Okay. Yeah, you're right, brother. This is
of not that way.
we got this stuff around here, these animals.
Not that way.
All right, let's get back into the lesson. All right. So you were speaking about, the peace. We go into Al Shadia, all that. Let's get back to the peace, because of that peace, the Most High Yahweh.
The peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah, He controls everything, the good and the evil. So no matter what He does to somebody, how should I phrase this? For lack of a better word, when the Most High does Al Shadia mode through His Son Yahweh Shai, no matter what He does, you also know that comes from Him. You pray for Him for protection. You know nothing can't happen to you unless He goes, for lack of a better word, Al Shadia mode on you through His Son. See, that brings a certain amount of peace. No, you keep your head on a swivel, circumspect, as the scriptures speak about. You're not just walking into the woods and at 3 a.m. You're going to say, I'm going to jump into this pond right here in the middle of winter and freeze yourself off. The scripture speaks about protect me not your house, as you did at Manasseh. But that brings a certain amount of peace, protection, comfort. The angel of the Lord. This is book of Psalm, chapter 34, verse, let me start, 6. This poor man cried, and Yahweh heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. Bear with me one moment, please. Let me do something real quick. Bear with me. You can break that down, brother. This poor man cried.
This poor man cried. Put yourself in there. This poor Hebrew cried, and the Lord heard him and delivered him out of all of his troubles. Crying to who? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Crying for what? Just truth. Crying for faith. Crying for salvation. Crying for deliverance from Esau's kingdom, from this wickedness that we have to see day in and day out and even be around. We are not in our land. We cannot govern ourselves as if we was in our land. This is a captivity, a judgment, a punishment. That's why we are crying out.
God. No, we should probably go. Yeah, okay, right there. Verse 7. The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. You can break that down, brother.
The angel of the Lord. The angel is given charge over you, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Ministering angels, ministering to this truth to us, to you. Protection.
God. Yeah, Psalm 91, the stone represents the missiles.
Mm-hmm.
And you can liken also unto any other danger. Certain brothers will be headed for the truth. A few sisters and their children may be headed too. That's only going to be a handful of the elect. And on top of that, Yahweh Shemashah ain't going to abandon those members of the elect. He is going to put the spirit of them to endure. You might say, well, I'll have to go through all this pain and suffering. It won't be able to endure it. Most High Yahweh Shemashah ain't going to do that. He ain't going to put some hell on you and, I don't want to get into it. Horrific methods that you can't not endure. No, look at Stephen. When he was being stoned, was he in all this pain when he looked up? When he looked up? No. 7 sons of Maccabees, was they in all this pain they couldn't endure? No, because they would have fallen. They would have said, you know what, this God, he got to wait. This is too much pain. No. Most High kept them. It's an easy thing for the Most High to turn pain off. It's the Most High, it's an easy thing for him to do that. Don't even get afraid of that. That brings what? The peace. Because you know the Most High. He's the ultimate demon. He's the one wise and greatly to be feared, sitting upon the throne. This Lord spake unto Solomon, saying, Yahweh will dwell in thick darkness. Now there's written about thick darkness. Man, Elder Apostle Harder lets on black holes.
Mm-hmm.
Even light cannot escape them. That's dealing with the spirit world when you get with black holes. Time dilation, spaghettification, the body gets stretched out into this long spaghetti-like structure. You get ripped apart. Most High dwells in thick darkness. His ways are not our ways, none of his thoughts our thoughts. The darkness over Egypt was so thick, you could light a candle, get a big old flashlight, get your sun lamp out there, and still be dark. It's vain. More than likely, that was what? A black hole. And theoretically, a black hole can be a high-tech spacecraft. If you go to Google AI overview, do some research. Could pure energy beings do this? Could a entity that is massless do this and the rest of it? You know, when a person dies, a certain amount of grams leave the body, which is the spirit. So the spirit added weight. But theoretically, this with energy beings, so the spirit is what? Fire. Angels are what? Fire. Making this ministers angels, and the spirits are flaming fire. These are beings of pure energy. Pure energy. It's like, could they drive a black hole moving these big fancy words it's using, and like theoretically, yes, it could drive it and the rest of it and inhabit the black hole. You don't know what Yahweh Bashim Messiah is doing out here. GMS Contrition is key, the elder. I believe he's the regional head of Canada. He did a lesson about, what was it? There are glitches in the matrix. GMS Contrition is key. Most High Yahweh Bashim Messiah doing all kinds of stuff. He could have dimensions, the fourth dimension. He could have different levels to get there. The rest of it, we don't know. And how things pass through it. Just watch that lesson, edify. The other apostles already speak about what? Spirits can linger when people die. If a person died, they say they got visited by them. That could be true. Spirit was lingering before I went to the spirit world. I believe it was a story when them people died in that plane crash. They was knocking on people's doors, saying, "Where's my luggage?" They just disappeared. Died so quick. They're looking for their luggage. You don't need your luggage anymore. You're a spirit. Most High's ways are not our ways. None of his thoughts our thoughts. Even Esau knows about, certain things are spiritual. People with certain, what they call gifts. Esau, he got people like that. There's a certain amount of spiritual powers, like pyrokinesis and all this. Other apostles went into that. And also, GMS Contrition is key went into that too, the regional head of Canada. And you got something called what? This is a real fact. Spontaneous combustion. It's when a person just busts into flames. That's a real phenomenon. And it has occurred, and it has been documented on many different occasions. Go to Wikipedia, it'll show it right to you. Yahweh Bashim Shai. He is greatly to be feared. He can do whatever he wants to do. There is one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon his throne. You don't want a person to get messed up and try and go deep in all this stuff and bug out and won't be able to get out of that hole, so what is needful for you to be mind of? The things of prophecy. That's why we teach prophecy, because that is where we are to occupy. You might know about certain things, other things, might know about trees and the rest of it, but where are we supposed to occupy at? Occupy in prophecy. Pro means before, that means to speak. A prophet does what? He speaks before something happens. Don't search out things that are too hard for thee. We get that. Probably end it here at this point. Sirach chapter 3. Let's start at verse 19. Many are in high place and are renowned, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. Be humble. You say, well, I'm going to get proud and learn more than these other brothers. Oh, but I ain't going to deal with that. And the meek will always know more than that prideful brother. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honor of the lowly. The power of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, Yahweh, is great. He is the ancient of days, no beginning, no end. We cannot comprehend that. And if human were to fully comprehend that, they would die. So you might say, well, let me try. You will bug out. 21. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee. Don't try to seek certain things out. It's too hard for thee. Well, what does this planet look like in the core and all this? Well, you thinking of all this other stuff and bug out. Neither search the things that are above thy strength. Well, this, that, and the other. How's the spirit world work? How do you get there? How does this... But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. What is commanded of us to think upon? Prophecy. Getting ourselves in order. Circumcise your hearts. and not your garments. Setting your house aright. Your body is a temple. Your body is a house. Getting your body a temple. You're right. Do what Yahweh Shemash has commanded you to do. The law of faith. We cannot keep the law perfectly. The two greatest commandments. It goes into about love Yahweh by Shemash, your soul, heart, and strength. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Work on those two. Judges chapter 5, verse 11. Rehearse the righteous acts. Faith without works is dead. Meaning what? If you have Ebola, somebody has Ebola. I'm not going to say you. If somebody has Ebola, they have symptoms. If they say they have Ebola but no symptoms, they have not Ebola. If you have faith, you have symptoms. Because you're going to move with fear. You're not going to try and do something to set the Most High off. That's the works. That's symptoms. That's why it says faith without works is dead. You have to have proof of your faith. And faith will prove its own self because you're going to do the works. Faith without works is dead. That's why it speaks about that. But what is commanded thee? Sirach chapter 3, verse 22. But what is commanded thee? Think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. You say, well, how long has the spirit world existed? Think thereupon with reverence what is commanded thee. Prophecy. Sirach 391. Alright. You know, occupying prophecy. Y'all trying to make the parable about occupy till I come. Sorry, that's not a parable, but occupy till I come. You know, occupy what? Prophecy. No, I'm gonna check that. Is that a parable? Occupy till I come. Let's see. Yeah, this is a parable. Luke chapter 19, verse 13. Red letter words of Yahushua, where he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said, occupy till I come. The servants is supposed to be us, and the master is Yahushua, occupy till he come back. Yahushua. Sirach chapter 3, verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, but more things are showed unto thee than men understand. Don't bug out. The spirit world is fourth dimension. Human mind can't comprehend fourth dimension. Apostle Paul spoke about the things which could not be uttered. He can't even put into words. We cannot even comprehend it. You know, the chariots are alive. This could speak about in Ezekiel.
Con.
That's powerful in itself. No telling how that all works. Alright, go on, brothers. Anything else you want to speak about?
That's all.
And on that note, Shalom.
Kal halal Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Kakodash Barak Yahweh Barak Yahweh Shai.
Shalom.
Shalom.
The answer, Elder Jim is great stuff. And yeah, when you stay in prophecy, you stay within that peace. You're not trying to overwork yourself. You're not bugging out in your mind, trying to comprehend things that a human mind should not comprehend. It will not be able to comprehend. You're staying, as they say, in your lane. Be that a profitable but faithful servant. No, Scripture speaks about that, but we are unprofitable servants. But be the faithful servant. Build your relationship with Yahweh Shai. When you pray, that's like you're me and Yahweh Bashem Shai time. You're building that relationship. You're reading. You're praying. You're fasting. Hold on to your truth. Let no man steal your crown. You're praying, reading, fasting, studying, watching videos, meditating, repenting, repeat. You're doing all that. And part of that is what? Circumspect, which is what? Staying safe. You're holding on to your crown. Your crown is what? Symbolic of salvation. When Yahweh Shai comes back, you're literally going to crown and elect man. Pursuing 2nd Esdras, chapter 2, around the 43rd verse. And yeah, I went through the list. You know, pray, read, repent, study, fast, watch the videos, meditate, repeat, do all that. Blessed you that read it from the book of Revelation. Do all that. You can read online. Recommend reading the book. When Jacob's trouble, you know, power goes out. No more electricity. Ultimately, you gotta have the word in your heart. That word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. And pray that Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Chakodash. No, do that. But because it's not in our power. He is the one that has it retained in us. That's 2nd Esdras when he drank that, like that fiery bottle. On that note, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Oh, brother, the hopeful elect 144K. Shalom to you, brother.
Shalom.
Yahweh Bashem Shai, Barakatah, Bashem Chakodash. Sister, Pasha, Yahweh Bashem Shai, Barakatah, Bashem Chakodash to you. The elect lady and her children, whom I love in the truth. I just been the bound. There is elect ladies. Shalom, shalom, shalom.